The thing I wanted to talk about today is triggers. Maybe one of the questions would be, why do I feel triggered by someone? A trigger, and I'm not talking about pulling the trigger. No, I'm talking about triggers that can throw you off with people in general, whether it be someone that you're intimate with, someone that you're in a family relationship with, your co-worker relationships, things that they do that can trigger and throw you off. And when I say throw you off, it's when you get those feelings of anxiety, that nervousness, that feeling when you start to sweat, and your mind is like not clear because of the negative encounters you have had with this person on a regular basis. So your mind, whenever it comes time to approach these people, you just get so nervous and thrown off, and it's just hard to deal with. So I wanted to talk about triggers today and how we are triggered in our mind from these types of people, and how the brain stores memories of dealing with these type of people, and sometimes you have to continue to deal with them because they are co-workers, they are family, they're spouses. For one reason or another, we still have to deal with them, and I'll cover how you can deal with people that causes you to trigger into that negative response, so that you can gain clarity in the mind, so that you can approach them and figure out creative ways to approach them, so that you can solve problems that you need, so that you can continue with what you do without stopping you from doing what you need to do, because sometimes it can hold you back and stunt your growth. It can just hurt you, and once you realize your triggers, who's triggering you and what triggers you, you can move on in a more positive way. So here we go. So it is said that our body, our brain have a record of experiences that feel threatening to us. It responds to traumatic memories differently than non-traumatic injuries, and memories that just were not good for you, and it causes that, when people say that fight or flight feeling. So that fight or flight response to like trauma or drama or anything in the past that was negative, and things that can remind you and trigger you would be a smell, something that you smell that'll make you remember it, something that you see or experience, or even just certain sounds. So then when we're exposed to a trigger, we act as though we're under threat, and like we're being attacked. And this is something which can be related to PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Not only soldiers have post-traumatic stress disorder, there is also those that deal with soldiers that have been diagnosed with PTSD. You have spouses and children and there's the diagnosis of secondary PTSD. And all of these can form things that will cause triggers and make you feel a certain way that just makes you nervous, and you just become unclear of how you do things. You know what? Triggers are different for everyone. It's not the same for everyone. And as we keep in mind that everyone is different, but a triggering response can be like you're relieving a traumatic experience. So some of the feelings that you get from being triggered by a person that makes you angry or whatever, you're feeling scared, you start to panic before you approach them, or when they come around you, you start feeling unsafe, you start feeling like antsy and anxious, and your heart start beating real fast, you start sweating, your breathing is like, you didn't even go for a long run or anything like that, and it's like, dang, why am I breathing so fast? And then you feel like you have no control over the way you're going to the way you accept their response. You have the urge to run away and get away and just do something, whether it's something that's not beneficial for you. It's called avoidant behavior, right? And so then you have these negative thoughts about this person, and then you start getting real mad, and even tensing your body up, clenching your fist or your jaw, as you start to remember those traumatic experiences that made you feel this way about this person or this situation. And so you begin to have outbursts of anger or sadness. And I just wanted to talk about some ways, because I deal with solutions of how to stop feeling triggered, or how to start easing those trigger moments. So instead of responding to that person, negative for negative, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth, we can start by, number one, learning what our triggers are, what made us feel out of place, what made us feel so down and out, and took us off track, and just disrupted our whole inner being. So once we face the facts and learn this here triggers me, and that's when you learn your boundaries, and even though you have learned what boundaries were and set your boundaries, it can still come upon you when you approach and deal with certain people. The main thing is noticing what triggers you and why it triggers you is the beginning. Let me try to give a small example excuse me, of this. Would be in a relationship where the wife is considered a nagging wife, and she's attacking the husband, calling him an idiot, and why would you do this or why would you do that, and he immediately gets that fight or flight response by saying, who the hell does she think she is? What does she know? And so this is the way we respond to each other, where solutions never happen. Problems never get solved. So whereas she feels as though he's doing something where he's not paying attention, where he doesn't communicate well, he is looking at it as an attack upon himself. So it's not good for either party, and it causes triggers on both parties. So realizing these emotional reactions, it helps to just be on notice of why you are triggered. So this here boils down to listen to your inner voice. If something is not healthy for you, your intuition, your discernment is always number one. Whatever is within you and it's telling you something is not safe, go ahead, set your boundaries, go ahead and, because you need peace. Each individual, in order to move on to the next level, in order to be productive and have a good life per se, is know your triggers. As I was saying before, a trigger can be very much related to anger. And like I've said before, I like the Bruce Lee method when he says, be like water, my friend, be like water, where he punches the water, and it's a total different effect when he punches water. You don't hurt yourself. Water is still. Water is powerful, but it won't move. Whereas you punch in the wall, you have to go to the emergency room. You don't broke your fingers and have to get splintered up or whatever, and you hurt yourself because you did not know how to control your anger and the way you respond to people that trigger you. So some things to do is think before you speak. In the heat of a moment, it's easy to say something to destroy the other person's feelings and destroy. You can rip somebody a new hole the way you respond to them and tear them down. But just because you're feeling bad and they triggered you, I'm gonna tell you from experience, that doesn't, it helps for a minute. It's like, yeah, I told them, they get on my goddamn nerves so bad that blah 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 blah, right? But that doesn't really help. And I've done that so many times in the past, and it's just, you become ignorant just like that person that is triggering you, right? So the best method I have found, and I had to learn this myself, is to think before I speak and get creative of how I speak, verbally, face to face, or through text. And as calm as you are, no matter how they are attacking you, no matter how evil and wicked their spirit is, it is so powerful when you stay calm and don't let it, and let them know that there are negative things they're saying to you, and how they're saying to you and how they're demeaning you doesn't bother you. Sometimes you can get through to people when you remain calm, and then you can express your concerns and listen to their concerns. Some people, they are what they call grandiose narcissists, will never get it. So it makes no sense for you to explain yourself to someone that is committed to misunderstanding you. Exercise always helps. Walk around the block, sit on your floor in your living room, lift your legs, do your arms, some type of form of moving the body in what they call exercise. Give yourself a timeout before you know that you're going to be triggered, or if you're caught in that triggered moment, get into your inner body, talk to yourself and say, I am not going to respond. I am going to be calm. I am going to be calm. You just have to talk to your head, talk to yourself. Don't hold a grudge. Excuse me. Holding grudges it's not good. It don't feel good. You're walking around with that nasty feeling all day long, whereas they accomplish what they want to accomplish, which is to disrupt your inner being. Don't hold a grudge. You feel so much better when you can, and you got the power when you don't hold a grudge, and you can deal with them with dignity and respect. In the work environment, I find that using laughter or finding something humor to ease a situation with someone that triggers you, or you see that they're triggering other people that you don't agree with, and you can step in and protect those other people that are not as strong in the mind. Use humor to get them to back off. So dealing with triggers and it when it puts you in a bad place, the main thing how I wanted to end this is just keep silent. If you can't think of anything constructive to say or how to solve a solution, just keep silent and get quiet. Resist the urge to yell, cry, or be mean to the person. Try to resist it. Just get quiet. Just be silent.